Welcome back to the channel. Well, I'm out in Slovenia and just look at the views behind me. Absolutely incredible around here. But that's not why I'm here, just to do a bit of sightseeing. I'm here to ride these new Suzukis, the new GSX-8T and TT. This is the TT version. Basically, it's based on the GSX-S platform. A few little tweaks which we'll go into, but basically just in a retro body and a lovely cowl. So if you're interested in these two bikes, this is the video for you. So settle yourselves down, make yourself a cup of tea, and chop seat, roll that intro. So here are the motorcycles, everyone's getting ready. We've got some we've got the designer with us who actually come up with the design of these bikes. He's the fella there with the dark visor down. We've got the Suzuki test rider, who's even like tested the MotoGP bikes. He's the fella with the white Arai helmet there. We've got Chad, we've got the usual crew. Kate and Dan's here as well. But we're starting off on the TT, and at lunch we're swapping to the T. So there's two groups of people and we're going to swap over at lunchtime. But as we know, this is based on the GSX-8S platform, so it's more or less exactly the same. The gearing's the same, the engine's the same, suspension's the same, so it really is the 8S but with some slight tweaks. Lithium battery, which saves 2 kilos, so Suzuki finally added a lithium battery to the bike. And the headlight, they say, is the best headlight they have ever made. So we had a big presentation last night, and you wouldn't believe how much time and effort was made about a headlight. Bar end mirrors, the first bike with bar end mirrors. So we had also a couple of slides of the presentation all about the mirrors. Hand finished. I hope you noticed there's no cast marks on these. Hand finished. Oh, it's all in the details. Just sliding into the seat, it's nice and wide actually. I fancy that seat is more comfortable than the 8S. Bit wider, nicely padded. The TT version is actually 10mm or so taller than the T, and that's because of the seat. But yeah, that feels comfortable from a looks point of view. For me, I think the TT has it. Oh, I like the little exposed radiator cap there as well. Anyway, shall we go? So we've done about 5 miles so far, just out from the hotel. It's been a bit damp. The roads are incredibly slippery. I've never felt when you touch your boot down, it's so slippery back there. So we've taken it very steady for the moment. But first impressions of the bike is it's actually very nice. I mean, there's no surprise. This GSX-8S platform is a brilliant platform. The 8S is a great little bike. This motor, 776cc, I think, 82 horsepower. It doesn't sound amazing on paper, but it's so grunty, this bike, and the way it makes that power, the power's delivered in a manner exactly how you want power to be delivered on a road bike. So you just got grunt, so you can pull out the corners. Yeah, it's a little bit wheezy at the top, but it's just a lovely, grunty, powerful motor. So top marks this engine, is a great power plant. The same one which is obviously in the V-Strom 800, the 8S and the 8R. Well, it's now also in these 8Ts as well. And yeah, very nice. But what's impressed me so far, even though this is a middleweight, it's a physically decent sized bike. I mean, I'm 6'2", 20 stone. I'll say it again for everybody. That 5th gear grunt, the pull you got in 5th gear. I'm 6'2", 20 stone, and I feel like I fit on this beautifully. The tank shape is beautifully sculpted where my legs sit. It feels quite low at the back. When I sat on it, it sunk quite a bit. Obviously, that would be my 20 stone. But it's got a very stable feel to the ride, you know, and it feels quality. There's a really nice sort of quality feel to it as well. And the bar end mirrors, absolutely stable, no vibration in those, which is quite impressive as well. And yeah, it's just a lovely place to be sat. The fuel tank is bigger. We have a 16.5 litre tank on this, compared to I think a 14 litre tank on the 8S. If that's wrong, I'll correct it on the screen. So you got a decent increase in tank size. But one thing Suzuki were banging on about last night is the dynamics of the bike, you know, the handling of this platform, and it does handle great. Anyway, we'll come on to all that later. For now, let's just ride. So we just stopped. That was a quick 20-minute ride to this point, basically. So we've got some photos and video to do now. Thankfully, the sun is out. Looks pretty gorgeous around here, actually. Very quiet, lovely little towns. Must be so nice to sort of live somewhere like this, I think. Absolutely beautiful. Is that your own spray and stuff you brought, or is that?
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's got to be organised, isn't he? Jesus. Do a tyre swim if you want.
We're going to do passing shots in a minute, so you might as well have to
I'll do the edges, you'll never get near them.
I'll be fine. It might improve the grip on these tyres, actually, a bit of that on them. Mine's that one, third one back. Charlie, if you wouldn't mind, mate.
That's the one that needs preload.
Yes, that's the one that needs preload. Yeah, the one with just a bit sunken at the rear. We just stopped for another camera opportunity. A bit more up this little twisties, a few snaps. You fill your bottle up, Dan. Give it a. There we go, full factory. I'm getting the preload adjusted. 7 levels of preload. They've put them up to level 5. It's on, I think it said it was 3 standard, so they're clicking it round. Is that done? Well, very fast, very fast. See how she feels. A bit more support in the rear now. Yeah, feels like there's a bit more support. The drive, that was 3rd gear, well over geared there. Pulls lovely out of the corners. These are really tight in there. I don't like tighten edgy corners quite so much as this. This is where the photographing individuals are. Woo! Yeah, it's a lovely balanced, you know, this 8S platform. I guess a lot of people have tried this, and you know, it is a great little platform, this, and it's very stable. You know, it does everything really, really well. You know, I guess it doesn't excel at anything apart from, I think, the engine excels with the drive. But you know, the brakes are good. There's nothing where you go, well, that's not bad, that could be better. It just all works very, very well. You know, it's a fine handling. I mean, it's 203 kilos, I think, this version. So it's not, you know, it's not the lightest middleweight, but it's a reasonable sized motorcycle. That's what I like about it. Normally these middleweights, it was too small. I can never consider a middleweight bike because they're too small. Well, I feel like this isn't too bad. I mean, it's probably still a bit too small for me because I'm a freak of nature, but it's not bad at all, this. Let's give it a bit of that. Woo! So is there anything, obviously with these sorts of projects, there's budgetary constraints, there's technical constraints, but is there anything which you would have liked to have done slightly differently, or if you had more time or more money? It's always something you think, oh, I would have liked to have included that, but we had to drop it. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, of course, the project, like you always wanted to evolve, and every time you want to do more. But this time, like I was really happy because Italian or Japanese team has quite enthusiasm way,
Yeah.
like the waku, the passion, the enthusiasm, excitement about this project. So we could design many new parts on this motorcycle for the first time, as a rounded barrel mirror or some logo, like the 8-ball emblem or the 3D emblem on the gas tank, and the new seat tuck and roll. So a lot of development and a lot of new parts. And so I was quite happy that we could like bring so many new parts on this motorcycle.
So that's the first set of photos and video done on the TT. We've got to do that this afternoon on the T. So that's the thing with these launches. Everyone thinks, oh, you're just off riding all day. Most of the day is filled with guffage, if I'm honest. But this is, I think we've got an hour now of fantastic roads to the, I think it's going to be the lunch spot or coffee spot. Not sure, but it's been promised some superb views, superb roads. Just hoping this like dampness dries out, because when it's been damp, it's been incredibly slippery. But these little villages, just, I mean, look at that. I mean, they're just gorgeous. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Like some sort of wood mill there. That absolutely beautiful. Slovenia, never been before. Absolutely lovely. It's such a predictable bike in the handling department. I mean, it's quite a, you know, relatively long wheelbase. Suzuki's always tend to be, they always go for stability over probably agility, but it's very stable. The riding position on this feels very good. So you're quite upright. I've got a slight bit of sort of cantering to my body towards these bars. Bars are nice and wide. Foot pegs are sort of in the middle. They're back a little bit to give a little bit of a sporty feel. I think the riding position is really good. You can sort of move around the bike easily. I mean, like the 8S. You know, I think it is the same as the 8S. No different. But it's just a sort of sporty, I don't know, it gives a bit of everything. There's comfort there, but there's also, the ergos are there if you want to climb around it and get sporty, even if you're 6'2". Oh, slippery there. No likey when it's wetty. I mean, the roads aren't billiard smooth. I mean, there's a few potholes, loose tarmac, and yeah, and this suspension, I've not had it crash over anything yet, you know. As I say, it's a bit of a Suzuki trait, I think, to get suspension just nicely set up. You know, it's not the most premium suspension, but Suzuki get it set up really well. You know, and it works with the vast majority of size of riders. You know, that's what's impressive about it. So I don't think it's the actual kit they're using. It's because they've got it set up and sprung properly and just adjusted properly. And not all manufacturers do that. Looking at you, Honda. If I had one criticism so far, the quick shifter, very good, but the blipper, it's a little bit harsh. It's like, boom, you know, really, it doesn't blip that smoothly. You know, and it's like, it's sort of like, it's not actually blipping. It doesn't seem to actually, you don't actually hear it blip the throttle as you change down. You just sort of like into gear. So I mean, it's fine, and I think they're all like that. But it does feel like you're banging it down through the gearbox a little bit. This is quite bumpy down here. There's a little bit of wallow through the suspension, a little bit. But you know, it's higher speed stuff, I think, can show up sometimes. A little bit of inconsistencies with the suspension. It's still, still doing a wonderful job. It's that drive out the corners. What a view! Oh, look at that! Absolutely gorgeous. If you rev it, you know, it does still pick up power, but it is really more about the torque, this engine. The direction changes are good, but you know, the bars are wide. You know, you have to put a little bit of counter steer in to get it to change really quickly. Afternoon. Road bridge. Very Indiana Jones. There's crocodiles at the bottom. I mean, there's no sort of need to hang out of the seat really. You know, it's light enough and well balanced enough just to sort of move your upper body round. You don't have to clamber over the bike to get the best from it, which I like that. And even now the tyres are all warm, even these OEM Dunlops, they're actually providing a reasonable amount of feedback. Dare I say it? Dare I say it? That's the foot pegs down. is there any sort of special little details anywhere which may not be quite so apparent? Someone mentioned something about the tail being easier to remove on this to fit a tail tidy and stuff like that. Is there any other little, or maybe little vents under these for cooling and little touches?
Maybe like, because for example the radiator cover is one of the parts that I like it on this one. That's why we put this 8-ball logo. Yeah. And because if you do kind of revival on motorcycle, for example, T500 was in 70's two-stroke, so it has oil inside the engine, and so it has an oil tank situated around here. Yeah. So we could have said, okay, let's bring a part here that looks like the old one, but to just match, to having a matching bike. But for us, it doesn't make sense because it's like a bit fake, because what's the tank for? It doesn't make so for example, the radiator cover, the goal was to say, okay, Suzuki evolved. Nowadays we've got a water-cooled engine, so let's emphasize it. And so if you look at T500 tank, it has like a cap on it, a logo on it, and a nice shape's quite iconic. So it's like kind of moving it forward. So we've still the cap, the logo, and then implemented some good, for example, in motorcycle, one of the important things when riding, especially during this hot day, is to not have the hot air of the engine. Yeah. So radiators sometimes give you a lot of hot air. But behind this, we could like make, for example, a wall that make when, for example, the ventilation start on, all the hot air doesn't escape by here, but completely by the side. So you don't feel it. I don't know if you noticed today, but...
Well, a lot of people in the past have said these can get quite hot to ride, and I didn't notice that today. And it's, you know, it's towards the end of the ride, it was quite warm. So that I mean, that's great, isn't it? That's what style's all about, isn't it? If you can build practicality and style together, I mean, that's the ultimate fusion, isn't it, really?
That's why. And so the work was like, for example, wanted that shape to the cover, and then the engineer take it, calculate, and say, okay, but with that shape, so we will have a lot of heat going on the legs. So, okay, what do you suggest? Maybe putting a hole. Okay, let's integrate it into the design to make it working well.
Ah, brilliant. Afternoon, how are you? There we go, here's lunch. Not too shabby, is it? Not too shabby. Not a bad view, if I do say so myself. Yeah, look at that. Bit of coastline over there, so Slovenia does have a little bit of coast. There's a little bit of coastline over there, and I think Croatia is that direction. But I mean, what a view. What a view. So here is the TT with that backdrop. Oh, it's good, isn't it? Hey, God, that's a view and a half. But never mind the view, I guess we should look at the motorcycle. The paintwork is very nice, and I do like the raised badging, the raised sort of 3D badging they've got on the tank. A bit more of a retro look, and the little speed blobs. The TT has this different seat, which has actually been really comfortable, and there's plenty of padding in this, and I've been pretty impressed with that. All morning riding, sat on there, it's not too bad. It's almost like a sort of the premium seat standard, if you like. Even the pillion one doesn't look too bad. That front cowl with that headlight, which we heard so much about yesterday, it's the best headlight they've ever made, they say. It's the best headlight they have ever made from a beam spread point of view. One thing you do get on the TT is the indicators stay on all the time as running lights, which is a bit like the Honda do, but you don't get that on the standard T. And the reason for that is there's some sort of legislation. You know, when you, for the running lights, when it's bikes to the side, you still got to be able to see the running lights. And because the headlights recess slightly, they had to make the indicators running lights to meet the sort of legal legislation in Europe. There are those mirrors we heard so much about yesterday. They're one of the things they pointed out is normally you'd have a cast line down the edge of the mirror, but it was all, the cast line's been polished out, if you like. So they say these have been hand finished, these bar end mirrors. They're very proud of these bar end mirrors, Suzuki, and I must say there's no vibration. You've got really good visibility behind, so yeah, well, job well done, I suppose. So we've had a bite to eat, very nice, bit of fried chicken, soup, like chips and something else, sort of oniony type, local food, and this delicious looking banana roll. Very nice, it was very nice. But now I'm done with the TT now, done all the stuff on the TT, now we're going on the T. So yeah, let's jump on her, let's jump on the T. Slightly different seat on the T, maybe not quite as much padding, we'll see. Comfort wise, the TT was really good. The suspension is non-adjustable, preload on the rear, that's it, nothing else. Nothing on the forks, just preload on the rear. But yeah, let's jump aboard, take her for a spin. What a stunning view. I mean, that was the lunch spot up the top with that view behind you. I don't know what altitude we are, but it's blooming high. So you can feel your ears popping. Yeah, it's absolutely, I mean, the scenery, the roads, everything's just so beautiful. Really quite surprised. I knew it was nice in Slovenia because when Mossy obviously went away on the Tracer, did the Tracer launch, I went through his footage obviously to edit the video, and I was like, good God, it looks stunning. And I think maybe that in that there was a few more mountains maybe, because they were in a different region. I think they went more towards Italy, so a different region to where Yamaha went. But even up here, it must have been the whole country is bloody gorgeous. Such a beautiful place, and everyone seems to have big houses, lots of land. Well, there you go, that's triple garage, anybody? You know, and you've got these roads, these incredible roads on your doorstep. So, I mean, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Hell yeah. The chassis is bloody good on this. It's got to be said. Loads of control. There's a load of support as well. I mean, I'm 20 stone. This one hasn't even had the preload increased on the rear. It matters not. This is like a bloody racetrack. Dad's all over the bar, he's chucking it around all over the shop. What a stretch of tarmac this is. What a bit of tarmac. That's got to be worthy of the fist pump after that. Boom. And which is your favourite out of the two? My favourite personally, I'm a bit of a sort of a 70s, 80s sort of retro man, so I love the cow, I love the belly pan. So it's the TT for me, but what about you?
Yeah, I understand a lot of people get emotional about it. That's great, I love it.
Yeah.
For me, let's say, firstly was 80 because like was let's say from the two babies was the firstborn.
Yeah.
For the twins was the firstborn, and because it was like matching my idea of coming back with a homage to a model, the T500, and so was well matching, could push with the color of gold, so was same color of my old bike, so I really love with the iconic headlights and all these elements that I wanted, and with the team we wanted to push into production. So was the first one, and so was the first love, let's say.
Yeah.
And then when we continue and we say, okay, that's fun to bring past the 70s of Suzuki, we are really having fun, maybe we can do like a more sporty model, because we've got a lot of customers looking more for sports model. So we think about like some wind protection, and then we say, okay, let's move on maybe to the 80s to continue a bit this revival of a timeless model. And one of the inspiration was during the American AMA Superbike race, it was a Westcoulet GS1000, which has a really nice fairing with some chin spoiler and everything, and so was looking great. So when drawing on this base, inspired by this model, it getting really nice. And when I saw it in real, because then you sketches and you do clay model, but then you see really real after all production, like I get too emotional about it. So I say, it's difficult because I was love at first sight, but now I have like a contender to this, and they're still struggling to know which one is my favorite.
Yeah,
So.
you love them both. It's like
Yeah.
choosing between your favourite child, I suppose, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
it's
they're both your
becoming a
children.
problem.
You love both of them.
That's right.
Very, very impressive, actually. I mean, it is a really good fun package, this, and it's actually much better than I remember it, because I guess, oh, that was a big old bump. When we did the 8S launch, I think it was in February, and it was Route Napoleon in France. You know, the temperatures were very low, and I guess the tyres never really got up to the temperature really. But even though this is identical, we've even been like asking the developers, are you sure the suspension's the same as the 8S? Are you sure? Are the tyres are the same? Because there's just a level of performance here that I didn't realise this platform had. The motor's got the drive, got the torque. It's really quite impressive what you could do on this. And I say it's very stable. You know, if the corner tightens up, you can lean it in more. There's good ground clearance. I mean, on the really tight and edgy stuff, I've had the pegs touch down, but when you're actually rolling, it's got a surprising amount of ground clearance to enable you to have that fun, exploit that performance. Yeah, it's very good. We mentioned it to the designer about, you know, the bike, what's different. And he's like, well, the headlight is closer to the headstock, so it's less weight sort of out over the front. It's more, you know, mass centralised. The weight is more centralised. But it's like, well, that's 500 grams. You know, 30 millimeters closer to the bike, but that isn't going to make the sort of differences we're talking about. Obviously, it's got the lighter battery, which is quite high up in the bike, so that's less weight. I mean, but it's surprising. I do not remember this bike having quite the credentials, performance credentials, as what this seems to have. Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, I guess the big thing with this bike, both these bikes really, is people is going to say, oh, they're a bit expensive. I mean, 9,600 for this one, 9,999 for the TT, and we sort of raised it with the Suzuki guys at lunch, you know. I mean, the 8S, I think, is an £8,300, something like that, and it's actually on a bit of an offer at the moment, so you can actually get it cheaper. So this is, with the current offer on the S model, this is like £2,500, well, not this one, but the TT is £2,500 more expensive. But, you know, yes, it's a slightly more premium finish, you know, but it's not like it's got fully adjustable suspension on this one. You know, you're paying really for the styling. You know, at the end of the day, you're paying for the styling. Yes, I think these look much better than the 8S. So I guess only you can decide whether you think it's worth the extra money. Obviously the TT, you can sort of say, well, it's got a belly pan, it's got the cowl, you know, it's got more bodywork, obviously lithium battery, mirrors, Pyramid mirrors, but it's the, you know, it's whether it's worth paying the extra for style, you know. So yeah, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Because from my point of view, you know, obviously there's a development cost for all of this as well, but yeah, it's really a case of if you think it's worth paying the extra to have that retro flavour, and only you can decide on that. I can't tell you whether it's worth it or not. That's for you to decide.